Hi there. I'm Leolia Lewis, and welcome to another edition of New Day, New Beginnings. Now, today, I have a question for you, as always. And my question is: how many times have you kind of looked back and remembered, or someone or something, and you wondered, I wonder what it would be like to have that, or to have them. What a life would be like with a person like that. How many times have you thought about that? I mean, I've done it myself. A lot of times you say, I used to ride by and see pretty houses and wonder, well, I wonder what it would be like to, to actually have, I'm trying to get my blouse straight, actually have a house like that. I mean, it was a beautiful big house. You know what I used to do? I used to go into, like, when they had a construction and a model house for you to walk through and ask questions. I used to just go because I wanted to see what inside one of these houses would look like. I'd look like a prospective buyer. Uh, but anyway, I would get to just let my imagination run wild. And a lot of times, I mean, it happens all the time. We all do the same thing. Guys, they might see an attractive woman or on the street or wherever, and they might say to themselves, I wouldn't mind having her on my arm, or I sure would like to get to know her better. And the same goes for women. We women do the same thing. We see a robust, attractive man, and you say, I wonder what he's like. I wonder if he's looking like, is he acting like he looks? He might make a great appearance, but you don't know. But it makes you wonder. I wonder what it would be like. And what about the smooth talkers? Well, especially the guys, they always think that they can talk there. You hear guys say, oh, just give me a couple minutes and I'll have her eating out of the palm of my hand, so forth and so on. And a lot of times they make bets, and they probably still do that. They used to make bets on seeing who could get the girl, whose words could win her over, you know, who could get her attention between their words or their appearance, or maybe they are a sharp dresser, and maybe when they walk in the room, everybody just kind of, oh, wow, looks at that person. But they might want to have a lot of money. Maybe they can flash the money. Money always gets people's attention. And then that way they dress in one way and got plenty of money, and that draws the female's attention. But don't kid yourself, women kind of do the same thing too. Everybody has a plan, but and this is the mentality for men and women. So it's not like it's a one-sided mentality. And that's why so many people follow and idolize the entertainers, the singers, the musicians, the sports figures, everybody, anybody that's in the limelight. They get all the attention, they get all the glory. And many imagine a life of, I wonder what it would be like. I do. I wonder if they're really like they look in public. And because now, living that kind of life, you can get anything you want, anytime you want. If you can't earn it, you can buy it. You don't have to worry about it because you got all the money you want, you got the popularity, you're a big star or a figure. So you can get anything and everything you want. Now, notice I said want. I didn't say need. Anything you want, not anything you need. Because half the time you're so busy following your what you're seeing. That's what I want. That's what I want. You're not even thinking about, is it what you need? Is it going to give you what you need? You don't think that far because you're just grasping for what you want. And that brings me to today's lesson. And today's lesson is titled, What You See Isn't Always What You Get. So be careful what you ask for. And the minute I thought of this lesson, Sean Diddy Combs came to my mind. He's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. He's rich, 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 rich. He's a star. Everybody knows who he is. Well, now they really know who he is. But he's been successful. He's got millions of dollars. I mean, he not bad on the eyes, dresses cool. But what does it take to be in his presence? Cassie Ventura. She caught his eye. He won her over. And there she was. Now she's living the life. One of the richest men there are, most popular man there is, greatest entertainer, easy on the eyes, getting her everywhere. She probably wouldn't have went half the places that she did, but she was in his presence. She was on his arm. He was glad about it, and so was she for a while. But again, I say, what you see isn't always what you get. And Kathy Ventura is the living proof of that. I followed it for a while. I followed it and I saw the real Sean, the real Diddy. And so did she. Much more so than I did. First of all, how can you get in that situation? All right, so maybe by accident, but to just stay and submit yourself to such abuse, that part I don't quite understand. Now, I know the first time he did it, he probably, like most guys, beat you to a pulp and then they apologize and I didn't mean it and I won't do it again. And they bring you gifts and presents and flowers and buy you stuff, more jewelry, more this, more that, and swear that it won't happen again. And then 3 days later, you're still picking yourself up off the floor again. Well, I can't take too many of those floor things. So, me personally, there is nothing that would make me stay, period. One punch, that's all you get. You don't get a do-over with me for brutality. That just doesn't work for me. Now, a lot of time, and people do it all the time because females, and sometimes even men take abuse, but females take abuse and then just because he says he won't do it anymore, well, I'll do this and I'll act this way. And maybe if I do this, that'll make it better. And then they start making excuses and start blaming themselves. Now, the weeks turn into months, the months turn into years, and people spend their whole lives with physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. And it's all because what? I don't understand that part. Maybe it's because I'm not a physical person and I just can't take that kind of beating. But that's why I continually talk about wisdom and knowledge and understanding, because that's what it takes for our lives to be more mundane. It's not always about the money. It's not always about the popularity. I'd rather be where I am with nothing. I mean, I'm surviving, I'm okay, but I don't need that kind of money. I don't need that kind of environment to survive. That's not surviving. That's just barely living. That's why I talk about wisdom and knowledge. Without wisdom and knowledge, your life can become a disaster. Your life can go down the tube so fast because what? Because you don't have wisdom and you don't have knowledge. Because you need wisdom and knowledge just to understand what you're getting yourself into and how to make a wise decision about what you're doing. So let's go to Proverbs chapter 8, and that's under the heading of the call of wisdom. And this is simply going to say, when I say the call, because it's like wisdom calling out to you to tell you what to do, to tell you what's necessary to have a calm, peaceful life. And we're going to start right here in verse 6 of Proverbs chapter 8. And this is wisdom speaking to you. It's saying, hear, Hear, hear me, for I will speak of excellent things. Excellent things. What are excellent things? Excellent means superior. It means above and beyond everything else. It's not just something, it's something above. I will speak excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. Everything that you're going to hear from the wisdoms talking to you is for your benefit. It says, for my mouth shall speak truth. Truth. And truth is anything in accordance with the facts. This is truth. This is what we need to be reading. This is truth. And wickedness is an abomination to my lips. What's an abomination? That simply means an extreme disgust, a loathing, a hating of something. And it says, anything that is not of the truth is an abomination. That is not wisdom, it's not knowledge, because it's not of the word. It says, for my mouth shall speak the truth. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness, and there is nothing froward or perverse. So froward means being habitually inclined to do anything that is disobedient. So you're going to just be doing anything that's out of the will of God, out of beyond these words. Just, in other words, just do what you want. Do what you want, say what you want, just do it. Live your life the way you want, say, doesn't matter. It says, and nothing that is perverse. And what is perverse? That means corrupt. That means improper. Anything that's opposing what is right. And this is what is right. Verse 9 says, they are plain to him that understand. We understand because understanding is getting the thorough grasp of what something means. That's understanding. And right to them that find knowledge. So you need the knowledge, you need the wisdom so that you can grasp and understand what the wisdom is telling you. That's the whole point. That's the whole purpose. And in verse 10, wisdom says right here, receive my instruction. That means pay attention to my direction. Instruction Just like when you buy something, it'll have a little booklet, instruction of how to work it or how to use it. It's information. It's a manual of procedures. This is our manual. This is all we need. This is where we get our knowledge from. This is where we get our instruction from. And it says, instruction, knowledge, that's worth more than silver and gold. For wisdom is better than rubies. So this is saying wisdom, knowledge, all this is better than all the stones you may have. Diamonds, rubies, pearls, doesn't matter. This is more important and better than anything that you could desire or compare with it. Because these people are rich people, but it's not serving them any purpose, especially not her. It serves her no purpose at all. It says, I, wisdom, dwell with prudence. Well, what is prudence? Prudence is the ability to have discipline over yourself by use of reason. And we can't reason about anything if we don't read and try to understand what this is telling us. This keeps us from making bad mistakes. This keeps us from going in the wrong direction and not being able to find our way back. This says, then with wisdom, we will find our knowledge of witty inventions. What are witty inventions? Well, witty inventions are schemers, people that are always thinking of ways to get your money, to get possessions, to get anything you have that they want. It's their mind working overtime on ways to talk people out of stuff that they have and into what they want. Those are witty mind inventions. That's what they are. But it says the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. And when they say the fear of the Lord, they simply mean the respect, the reverence that we give the Lord. That hates evil. And what does that mean? It means wickedness. And we see that in our everyday living. Wicked stuff goes on every single day of our lives. Whether we're involved in it or not is irrelevant. The point is, it does go on. And that includes pride, which we know is conceit, which again brings us back to Diddy. He thought he was, well, he always thought he was above everything and everybody. He had his arrogance, the attitude of superiority. And so many of them have that same attitude. We see that every single day in politics. Everybody's trying to outdo everybody else. Everybody's trying to outsmart. Everybody's trying to outdo. Everybody's trying to be in charge. But it says, the froward mouth do I also hate. And froward means, again, habitually inclined to disobedience. So that means talking wrong, talking with superiority, talking negatively, rude, disregarding people's feelings, just saying whatever they feel like whenever they want. And nobody's supposed to do or say anything about it. Verse 14 says, counsel is mine. So counsel means guidance, advice. I'm giving you, this is giving you counsel and advice. It's saying counsel is mine. That comes with wisdom. It comes with sound wisdom. And what does sound mean? In this case, it means free from any error, no defects. Everything here is true. Sound wisdom. I, wisdom, am understanding. I have strength. And strength is what? Strong power to resist. It's endurance. And we can't get this from other people. We can't get it from, no matter how much money you have, no matter how great you are at whatever it is you're doing, no matter how many people think you're it, greatest thing since sliced bread. But it does not get you strength, and it does not get you wisdom. And without strength, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, your life is still a disaster. And verse 17 even says, I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. That means don't wait until you're down in the dumps. Don't wait till you're on your last leg. Don't wait until everything you've tried, you've exhausted. It doesn't work that way. You've got to ask for help before you hit rock bottom. Now, let's go over to verse or chapter 12 for a minute, because I want to read a few verses from this. Now, chapter 12, we're going to go to verse 15, because this refers back to a few lessons back when we talked about Proverbs chapter 3. And this particular verse is chapter 3, verse 7. It says, be not wise in your own eyes. That means don't think that you know all the answers. That's all that means. Don't think that I don't need no help. I know what I'm doing. I can take care of this. I can do that. I don't need this. I don't need nobody's opinion. I don't need, a lot of people are like that. They just think they know everything. They can handle it. And they go out and do whatever they think they need to be doing. And then it backfires on them. It says, fear the Lord and depart from evil. But they're not fearing the Lord because they're not even looking at what we're talking about. They're too busy doing it their way. They're too busy doing what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it. And again, he is a classic example of this. Let's go right to verse 15 on Proverbs chapter 12, where it says, the way of a fool is being right in his own eyes. Very first sentence. Now, how many times have you done stuff your way and it backfired? Oh, I'm going to do this. This is all right. This will work for me. It doesn't work like that. You need help, whether you think you do or not. You need wisdom because you need to understand what you're getting into. Why are you getting into it? And what are the consequences? That's the important thing. It says, but he that hearketh unto counsel is wise. He who heeds and listens to counsel, which is here, instruction, he who listens is wise. Counsel simply means your guidance. If you're paying attention to this, then you're getting your guidance. You're getting it through what it's telling you here. It says the fool's wrath is presently known. Wrath, what's that mean? Vengeful anger. What did he show? When he beat her up, threw her on the floor in the hallway of the hotel, dragged her down the hotel, kicked her when she was on the floor in the hotel. Who does that? That's his anger speaking. That's his wrath. He's taking it out on her. And they, like it says, a fool is presently known by his wrath. And everybody saw who he really is. But a prudent man covereth his shame, because he's going to check himself. He's going to think about it. He's going to use reason. He that speaketh truth showeth forth righteousness, but a false witness shows deceit. A false witness. Well, we know what that is. Those that just plain outright lie. And deceit is what? Trickery. And we see that every day of our life. Every day we see trickery going on. One way or another, somebody's always trying to trick somebody out of what they have to give them what they want. And they speak like a piercing sword, and their words are harsh and abrasive. His words were harsh and abrasive. He was rude, he was demeaning, not only to her, but to his other employees. It says, but a strong tongue is wise and is helpful. It says a tongue of wise and helpful. Health meaning your body, your mind, your whole self. Body, mind, and spirit. Because now you're taking time to learn, to get the truth. The lip of truth shall be established forever. But a lying tongue is but for a moment. Deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil. That's where it comes from, the heart and the mind. Once you get it in your mind, you follow it through. And that's what deceit does. They imagine how they can scheme and connive, and now they put it to actual work. But the counsel of peace is joy. And what is joy? Joy is what I call a calm delight. Sometimes you can get joy out of the smallest things. How about you work hard all day? The day was messed up. You worked hard. Nothing went right. And I'm so glad the day is over. I used to just be glad just to go sit in my car, get out of the office. And I used to get out of work at 5 and go get in the car. And once I got in the car, I would just sit there for about 5 or 10 minutes just to enjoy the quiet, the calm, the peace. I enjoyed it. Sometimes I turn on the radio and sometimes not. But that's what it is, being content. And verse 21 says, there shall no evil happen to the just. The wicked shall be filled with mischief. Mischief is another way of saying a source of harm. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord. Just disgusting. But they that deal truly are his delight. A prudent man concealeth knowledge, but the heart of the foolish produce nothing but foolishness. The hand of the diligent shall bear rule. The diligent. I work diligently when I put together my lessons. That means you're putting forth extra effort because I want it to work. The hands of the diligent shall rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute. And slothful means kind of lazy, slow moving, don't want to go to work, rather scheme and connive than actually do a real day's work. That's the slothful. And it says they will be submitted to others. So being slothful, being lazy, not going to get you anything. We've got to get wisdom, get knowledge so that we can understand how to make right choices, how to make right choices about our everyday living. That's what's important. That's what we have to do. So we've read these verses, we talked about them, but now you've got to put them to work for you. We have choices. And here we are again to make more choices. Now, do you choose to follow the way of the fool with deceit and trickery, or do you want to do the way of truth and wise counsel? I've made my choice. Don't be wise in your own eyes. Don't do it your way and wonder why you're not progressing. Read these verses over and ask yourself, what is it saying to you? And my thought closing words for today are: a thought can take you into negativity, but a thought can also bring you out. Be careful what you think. Until next week, I'm Lelia Lewis. Thanks for joining me.